All right. Afternoon, Anil. Thank you for coming on a call with us on a short notice.
Good afternoon, Shri. Always a pleasure.
Excellent. So, uh, here is the starting puzzle that I want to throw to you, right? So, we are all students of astrology class at All Things Vedic that our dear teacher, mentor Vikram holds a space for us. It's what almost a year that we have been learning together. And it's been a deep journey personally for me, right? It's more an inner journey. It's very subtle. Nobody external sees the journey, but it deeply touches me, right? But it's very difficult to bring this alive to the outside world, right? Because it's a deep inner transformation. And I personally know you now as a friend, earlier as a fellow student, uh, but you had a very similar background to me, right? An engineer turned now a coach, supporting senior leaders. So I resonate a lot with your journey. But one other thing that I struggle when I try to explain about astrology to the Western world, whom I work with a lot, the moment I say astrology, they're like, is that occult science, right? And then at some point, I didn't even know what's the meaning of occult sciences. I had to Google it and figure out, oh, this is what it means, right? I mean, long story short, the Western media terms anything that is non-scientific as occult, right? But when I look at from my lens, I think it's a lens of physiology, psychology that I get to talk to myself about my inner journey, and I find that as a tool to know myself better, right? And as a process of that, know the people outside better, right? So tell us a little bit about uh, you to the audience and your journey. You have been in this space for a while, exploring the inner journey. But what got you attracted to astrology as a topic and start the learning? And it's a commitment, right? Like we are not supposed to read charts. We don't do predictive astrology. It's about self learning, and it's a 3 4 year journey. So it's a lot of commitment. So walk us through a little bit of uh, your side of the story.
Sure. Thanks, Shri, for the context. And so let me start with self. From the very childhood, for me, science and spirituality were not two different things. In fact, my organization today is called Atmatva, where which was the name itself came from Atma and Tattva. Spirit and matter cannot be separated. Now, Goethe said this in the West eons ago. Sri Aurobindo said it in India so beautifully in, I think, in Synthesis of Yoga or Life Divine, that how neither the asceticism of the East nor the materialism of the West is complete. So for me, there has been never been a separation between science and spirituality. Um so I had always, so even in my journey, so after having headed technology product multinationals as I, at the age of 40, came out and started doing startups, simultaneously I got trained into being a yoga therapist in the very first batch that Saraswati Vasudevan was doing. Not because I wanted to be a yoga therapist to other people, because I wanted to learn both the Bahiranga yoga,
Mhm.
the asana pranayama, and the antaranga yoga, the yoga sutras based things, and go deep for my
Beautiful.
own examination. And often I tell people is, like, if you scientifically have to look at a bacteria or a virus, you can today order a microscope. 100 years ago, that was not possible. Now, the only difference in spirituality is you need to, through your practice, develop the inner eyes and ears to see. Otherwise, that terrain and world is as accessible and as much legit and real. So there is no difference, except I need my inner eyes and ears that I need to develop. So uh, now, for a long time, I had this in my mind that I would love to learn about astrology, not because of predictive element at all. In fact, that was never on my horizon. So I think as a young child, 10, 12-year-old, I remember we used to stay in IIT Delhi campus, and I used to accompany my dad as he was learning from our family Panditji, who was a very nice person. He was the person who officiated for both my sister's weddings, and used to stay near our house in Green Park in Delhi. So as he taught, I just sit and observe. So I think the seed was planted there.
Mm.
Then that seed remained latent for years, and I remember one of my yoga colleagues, Harshita, I was having a conversation, whose father was a very accomplished Vedic astrologer at one time. He's no longer alive, I think. And so I used to have conversations. How does one learn? And she used to uh, struggle to give me good references. And then I came across a colleague of mine in a different context who had learned with Vikram for a year and said, "You should talk to Vikram." So I reached out, had a conversation, and said, "When I'm next in Oroville, let's meet up face to face because I like to sense the energy as well as learn more face to face." That was January of last year. And that's how I decided on the spot in that meeting over a meal that I'm signing in. And last May we started. It's almost a year.
Beautiful. What a journey, what a story. You did mention in our personal conversation about your journey in the IIT campus, being a scientific student, and now you're talking about the matter and spirit world together. But if I ask one of your friend in the last 1 year or now, what has shifted for you, right? Or if you have a self-reflection, hey, with this learning, hey, this is an area that I knew it, but it has got deepened or it has shifted, right? If you can give me some flavor of one or two practical things that has changed or very alive. Sometimes it's not changed, but it's very alive for you, right? Uh,
Sure.
is there anything that comes as a
Sure. So when I work, whether I work with CEOs or top leaders or with self, uh, the propensities of people are the starting point. What is their
Mhm,
swabhava?
mhm,
The first year of our astrology program is anchored in elements because besides the 2 hour Zooms we have had on Sundays, we have had 5 retreats on the 5 elements already, and the sixth end of year retreat will integrate everything. Uh, so for me, uh, the 4 day retreats we were part of, where we would through activities experience an element. And interesting connect was how Vikram brought each element connected to Shri Aurobindo's definition of Ma Saraswati, Mahalakshmi, Mahakali, and Maheshwari, and also brought in what shadow elements could be there for people, and how he connected earth to facts, water to feelings, fire to creativity, and air to thinking, and the earth and the ether to just the silent space in which all this unfolds. And if you look at it, these are also propensities. There are people with different propensities or combinations of propensities. And I think the beauty was because we were doing these retreats next to the Shiva temples, which were nearly 1500, 2000 year old, associated with that element. So we would do 2, 3 days of this experiential and then on a Sunday morning visit it after having learned the significance of the story behind that temple. So there was just this very beautiful, energetic experience simultaneously. So for me, year one has been about elements. And second is, I think what is in resonance with me is a couple of things. I've always, uh, when I interact with people, I tell them about what's our destiny work, especially in our 40s. We have to embrace our destiny work. And destiny is not fate. It is not something pre-written. It has a word destination hidden in it, which is made out of my free choices in this moment. But there are tendencies I have. So I see resonance in Vikram's work that when he does astrology, and we call it Prashna astrology rather than predictive astrology. So ask a question, and then we can look at the building blocks to see what are my tendencies or what is showing up in the present moment that could actually take me towards the aspiration. So we don't box people in. We don't try to scare people by and make money around by trying to tell them if you do this puja, that puja. We are actually seeing how can people be served through their deep introspection on their own self-awareness. So uh, heightened self-awareness. So when I speak about astrology to people, for instance, which probably is, uh, I I think there are two or three things that what we are doing stands out, which is you're absolutely right. The moment you say the label astrology, people will have a mental model associated. So simultaneous with it, I say three things. I actually say, look, first of all, this is for self-awareness. Maybe by third, fourth year, we will also bring predictive element, but I am not even in it for that. Second, it is a very, very unique confluence of astronomy, and I've learned so much about stars and planets. Itihasa Purana, people call it mythology. That's an inaccurate name, but okay, if you have to have an inaccurate translation to English, mythology. But how Vishnu avatars have been connected to planets for interest, in instance, the Navgrahas and all, has been mind-boggling. Then is the philosophy, right? Because again, the Indic philosophy, what does Rama really stand for? What does Krishna really stand for? And things like that. And then is astrology, which is more based on the chart we make based on planets, and thus we work with the South Indian chart. And then the awareness there also, what are the areas of life, what are the signs, and we are just learning the building blocks. So it's been, and slowly as it's got built, I think the pacing is also very important. And there's no math or other things we are doing, which
Yeah,
traditional learning does. So which allows us to actually learn in a way which is very, very self-reflective and fulfilling.
yeah, beautiful. I'm also reflecting on the style of teaching Vikram does and holds a space for us, right? Very Socrates style, very like not right or wrong, go at your pace. I think that's wonderful personally for me, right? And I'm also drawn to a thought that is very alive when you told about something in the last 10 minutes. So I grew up in Kerala, right, which politically we have lived with the paradox of communist on one side, the Congress on the other side. But it's a place which follows the tantric sampradaya the highest in the country, right? After Himachal, after Himalayas, Kerala is the next best place for the tantra vidya. But as a student, as a kid, as a bachelor, um, I never could choose a path of deepening my understanding. Right? It was either you take the communist path of no, this is all wrong. There is no God, right? Or it's like yeah, look at only scientific, right? So I think it just came alive to me that oh, what a beautiful way for us to say we are Indians and we know our history, right? And how avatars connect to various part of our life, right? I mean, I never could relate Matsya or Kurma, for example. Kurma is my favorite. Tortoise avatar as a remembrance of stability, and then I started seeing life as who am I giving stability as a tortoise? Who am I receiving stability from? Right? And they become the tortoise at that point in time. So my mind is filled with richer analogies of my
Mm.
friendship and relationship around me. So I was curious, did you had any revelation like this, right? Or were you able to connect to one avatar more than the other, or one element more than the other, or why you behaved in a certain way? Like there could be like I could never connect to emotions much until I did astrology and I understood why do I cringe about emotions, right?
Mm.
Was there a aha moment like in your inner world? if you
Yeah.
feel like sharing.
Sure. So very interesting. Two completely unconnected things happened uh, this year in parallel with the program. First was around May last year, February and May twice, I think. I had on May. I remember I visited Vrindavan for the first time. So Vrindavan, Mathura, and the uh, Bridge Gaon, and the whole experience of Krishna came alive energetically. Again, I had held that aspiration for a long time. So the avatar of Krishna, which is connected to moon, and when we came to it, I had an energetic experience of this space. And then very recently, a couple of months back, I'd gone to Bodh Gaya. So, and as I sat under the tree where Buddha got enlightened, and that energetic experience of that space, and then connection to the planet Mercury, I think, right? Uh, so as I was as Vikram was covering with us some of these avatars and connecting to planets and the qualities. And the beauty is whether it is elements or it's planets, because we are connecting through the qualities experientially, we don't need to remember it or in a way that usually astrologers do. So for me, that embodiment of those was very significant synchronicities that happen.
Beautiful, beautiful, amazing. I'm also drawn to one more thought that that came to me. You talked about elements, right? Where what was very alive for me was modality, the methods of action, and I used to swing between being fixed, the Vishnu energy, or between the mutable, which is the Shiva energy, transformation energy. And when I did my ascendant analysis, which links to our identity, it was absolutely clear why I have that swing, right? So, was there any moment when you were doing the reading the chart, reading your own chart, when you understood the houses, when you understood the lagna, when you understood the planetary positions? Was there like a now I see why am I mean, it's not a moment of self judgment, but it's a moment of recognition, right? Oh, I recognize this now better, right? Was there a
Yes. So, you know, it's been interesting. I am, it's early days where I'm still learning to fully, for my own chart, interpret, but from the little that I've seen after we took the software Prashna Light, and I'm looking at my chart. I put it in such a way where the houses, which are the areas of life, are there, and I'm looking at the challenges and what planet is placed there and things like that, and also seeing how blessed I have been in life and what is my birth stars that are actually possibly responsible for that. So I'm at that very, very early stage. Again, I am simply approaching it from a sense of curiosity at this time, so that I can, as a with a innocent mindset, learning mindset, first learn what it is, uh, and I don't know enough yet to be able to interpret, because we are still going through the various planets and their significance.
sorry, beautiful, great. If there is a fellow learner who is in the fence, like us, maybe 1 year back, right? Is there a advice that you want to share? Is there a tip that you wanted to give? What would you tell them?
Well, I can only say that when I came in, while I signed on the spot, uh, my actual experience of both the online and the in-person journey has exceeded my expectation. And I have been working in many spaces with some of the best of people around the world for decades. So, in that sense, I don't know of another astrology program or whatever label you give it from Vedic sciences that comes close to it with this lens of uniqueness. And so, if one has a curiosity, uh, it's a great place to learn. And I think what has also helped is as we go for retreats, right from the first retreat, we already had 5 retreats in the first year so far. Usually, a cohort emerges, which is becomes a close knitted. We tend to go in your Innova, some of us, and actually have become so close every time when you take us from Auroville. And the it's not just serious learning. In the spaces beyond the structured learning, whether it is when we are remote and peer learning, or it is actually when we meet in person, there is so much that unfolds. Uh, the spectrum of fun and laughter we have, and the learning we have.
Learn. Totally. I mean, I was sharing this with Kanika when I was chatting with her. Unfortunately, astrology either belongs to the world of occult, right, which has got a negative connotation, unfortunately. Or if you look at the way Bollywood has made the Tantra and astrology is always a white woman, and always in a white sari, coming as a ghost, and the pujari in a red color with a dot, doing some puja with havan and killing. So, can we reassure the audience or the students that we don't do anything dramatic that scares you off? Of course, the inner journey is scary, right? In the sense that it reveals truth about yourself. But this is not black magic. This is not what do you call jadugiri. This is hard work knowing yourself.
It's very funny. On the way back from Ether Retreat, as I was at the airport, there was this poster of the Hindi movie called Rahu Ketu. And then recently it was an OTT platform, and I saw the first 5, 10, 15 minutes of it. It's a absolute nonsense, of course. But there is this aspect of how people take up what this means. Because experience with astrologers is, oh, you are Manglik, so you will have to do this, or you have this dosha, so you do this puja through me and give me this many thousands of rupees. This is not about this at all. And uh, uh, and it is a heightened self-awareness, as you yourself have discovered, and we have had conversations about it. And just, I mean, the cosmos, I mean, obviously the stars and the cosmos and the moon, which has an effect on each one of us. Just the scientific understanding of what's happening is mind-boggling.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Anil. I think this has been a dream come true to know you as a learner of astrology and what's been your journey, but also as a pleasure to get to know you a bit more as a dear friend on how this journey has impacted you, right? So that's beautiful in both sense. We'll put a close to this and we'll come back on other topics shortly. Thank you
Sure.
so
Thank you so much.
much.
Thank you, Shri. It's a pleasure.